It saddens me to know that Lakshmi's home is like this. All the things that I've been taking for granted all these years, a clean house, a clean toilet, a clean place for cooking, electricity, are all a distant dream to her. She doesn't have a real home. Lakshmi has been with me since I was born. She's been taking care of me for as long as I can remember. She taught me Kannada. She read me a lot of poems and even taught me how to play hopscotch. She raised my brother and I like her own children. She is so cheerful and warm, and she's such a strong woman. When I was a child, I used to ask her to tell me bedtime stories. She used to tell me about her home in her village. Over the past few years, as her son moved into the city, I've heard her talk about her land more and more. And then I wondered if there was something I could do about it, because she was someone so close to me and she lacked the basic need, a proper home.
ನನಗೆ ಮೂರಲ್ಲಿ ಮನೆ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಏನಿಲ್ಲ. ಮನೆ ಬಾಗ್ಲಾಕ ಬಂದಿದ್ದೀನಿ, ಯಾರು ನೋಡೋರಿಲ್ಲ, ಯಾವ ಫ್ಯಾಮಿಲಿ ಇಲ್ಲ. ನಾನು ನನ್ನ ಮಗ ಇಬ್ಬರು ಬಿಟ್ಟರೆ ಯಾರಿಲ್ಲ. ನನ್ನ ಮನೆ ಇರಬೇಕು, ನನ್ನ ಮಗನ ಜೊತೆ ಇರಬೇಕು, ನನ್ನ ಫ್ಯಾಮಿಲಿ ಜೊತೆ ಇರಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ತುಂಬ ಆಸೆ ಪಡ್ತಾಯಿದ್ದೀನಿ. ಇನ್ನೂವರೆಗೂ ಏನು ಮಾಡೋಕ್ಕಾಗಿಲ್ಲ. ಲ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ಇದೆ ಅಮ್ಮ, ಮನೆ ಬಿದೋಗಿದೆ. ಮನೆ ಕಟ್ಟಬೇಕು ಅಂದರೆ 12 lakh ಬೇಕು. ಅದು ದುಡ್ಡಿಲ್ಲ, ಎಲ್ಲಿಂದ ತರೋದು ಅದು ನಾನು ಮುಂದೆ ಯೋಚನೆ ಮಾಡ್ತಾಯಿದ್ದೀನಿ. ಏನು ಮಾಡಬೇಕು, ಏನು ಬಿಡಬೇಕು, ಅದು ತುಂಬ ಯೋಚನೆ ಮಾಡ್ತಾಯಿದ್ದೀನಿ. ತುಂಬ ಕಷ್ಟ ಇದೆ.
All Lakshmi has to go back to is a substandard house. To have a quality home, a livable, safe and healthy home, means more than just owning a piece of land and having a roof over one's head. Most of us don't really understand the idea of a substandard house. Substandard houses are usually small, about 100 to 300 square feet in size, and have anywhere between 3 and 6 people living in them. They are crowded and they don't have running water, a proper toilet, or sanitation. They don't have a real kitchen, and so smoke fills up the house and causes respiratory problems. They don't have enough windows or light. They may not be accessible for those who are disabled or for the old. They don't fully protect the family from the elements. They are not hygienic enough for infants, and they don't offer privacy for women. They also don't have enough storage space, a peaceful atmosphere, and may have leaky roofs, peeling paint, and asbestos partitions that are harmful to health. Basically, a substandard house is one that fails to support the physical and psychological well-being of the family, their health, growth, and social integration, which are aspects central to human well-being. Across the world, studies have shown that substandard housing is strongly associated with increased risk of disease, crime, social isolation, and decreased mental health. Substandard housing also affects access to education and income opportunities. So we are actually talking about not just the survival of these people, but also their identity and participation in our society, their right to health, to equal life expectancy, to a happier economic and social status, and to be a part of India's growing economy. Affordability of quality housing is a serious problem in India. And to think that a lot of Indians don't have a place to call home is something that really scares me. This is not just Lakshmi's story. I mean, look around. The homes they live in, they don't have proper coverage. They've all been telling us about the rains and how the rains affect them so much. And if the homes can't even withstand rain, then it means something. And the fact that they lack water is like, it's like the basic need, and they don't even have that. I've been spending a lot of time in the communities that have been living in substandard homes. I've been photographing their lives, understanding how they live, and it's really not easy. And this has taught me how widespread the problem really is.
ಟು 20 ಸ್ಕ್ವೇರ್ ಫೀಟಲ್ಲಿ ಇದ್ದೀವಿ ಮೇಡಮ್. ಮಳೆ ಬಂದಾಗ ಫುಲ್ಲು ಫ್ಲೋಡೆಡ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಇರೋ ಪರಿಸ್ಥಿತಿ ತುಂಬ ಕಷ್ಟ ಇದೆ. ನಾವು ಬೆಂಗಳೂರಲ್ಲಿದ್ರೂ ಇವಾಗ ನಾವಿರೋ ಜಾಗಕ್ಕೆ ಪವರ್ ಸಪ್ಲೈ ಇಲ್ಲ. ನಮ್ಮ ಜೀವನಕ್ಕೆ ಆಟೋ ಬಿಟ್ಟರೆ ಬೇರೆ ಏನೂ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಆಟೋ ರನ್ನಿಂಗ್ ಮಾಡಲೇಬೇಕು. ಎವ್ರಿ ಡೇ ನಾನು ಆಟೋಗೆ ಹೋದರೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾವ ಟೈಮಲ್ಲಿ ಎಲ್ಲಿರ್ತೀನಿ ಅಂತ ನನಗೂ ಗೊತ್ತಿರೋಲ್ಲ. ಟೈಮಿಂಗ್ಸು ಬರೋದು ಹೋಗೋದು ಗೊತ್ತಿರೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಅದಕ್ಕೋಸ್ಕರ ನಮ್ಮ ಜೀವನಕ್ಕೆ ನಾವು ಆಟೋ ಓಡಿಸ್ಲೇಬೇಕು. ಅದು ಬಿಟ್ಟರೆ ಬೇರೆ ದಾರಿ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಓದಿಲ್ಲ, ಬೇರೆ ಕೆಲಸ ಕಲ್ತಿಲ್ಲ, ಮುಂದಕ್ಕೆ ಹೋಗೋಕ್ಕೆ ದಾರಿ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಮುಂದೆ ಜೀವನ ನಮ್ಮ ಮಕ್ಕಳು ಕೂಡ ಅದೇ ಥರ ಆಗ್ತಾರೇನೋ ಅನ್ನೋದೊಂದು ಭಯ.
The people who are most affected by substandard housing are people we see and interact with every day. These are our farmers, daily wage earners, our household staff, even taxi and auto drivers. They usually own a piece of land in the city or back in their native village, but the house on this land is inadequate. If we go by the last census, India has 13 million houses that are unlivable, and more than 10 million of these are in villages. These are people who typically have a family income of around $100 to $400 a month, with at least 4 to 5 people dependent on this income. They most often don't have bank accounts and access to finance. Health issues may be driving them deep into debt, and all of these together can pin families into difficult cycles to get out of.
Living in poverty is a curse, and I think among the most visible signs of this poverty is the lack of a home and the resulting lack of security and lack of self-esteem that comes from it. We did a market survey to see how we could tackle this situation, and unfortunately we find that there isn't enough market support to help people here living in this condition to get out of this situation. So ironically, even getting out of that state of poverty is such a struggle and a curse. Going ahead with this kind of a stressful situation, how does one assess the societal cost of all this? How does India get impacted with this kind of a condition being present all across the country? It's there in every city, every town. How do we get out of this whole quagmire? That is the whole challenge. And the answer, I think, would be sustainable social housing. So what we have come together and found is a viable way to go forward and to replicate going forward is this whole concept of co-creation.
Several organizations have tried to solve the problem of substandard housing in the past, but with limited success. While there are government grants available for the poor to rebuild their homes themselves, access to these grants is a challenge because of middlemen or lack of direct intervention of government officials. And fact is, today the cost of material and labor is higher than ever. We need social innovation. ಏನು ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್?
ಯಾಕೆ ಓದಕ್ಕೆ ಇಂಟ್ರೆಸ್ಟ್ ಇಲ್ವಾ?
ಓದ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಜಾಬ್ ಹೋಗೋಣ ಅಂತ.
ಎಷ್ಟು ಓದಬೇಕು?
ಅಷ್ಟೇ
ಡಿಗ್ರಿವರೆಗೂ.
Whole stress of living in poverty every day, and then the stress of trying to build a house is simply too much to ask of them to go ahead with. So it's time that we lend a helping hand and give that trigger, that jump start for them to be able to take that leap to get out of that condition. And what does a safe home mean for them? It's safety in all aspects, a better community, a better environment. Totally, it's probably a whole better new world. And these are the tenets that the World Health Organization sets out as well. So how do we start this process and how do we get out of this and get the whole ball rolling? That's the whole challenge.
Several sources define sustainable social housing as a habitat where the poor have the possibility and the desire to think and live beyond the short term. It is a model that supports socio-economic development and is respectful of the natural environment. In delivering sustainable social housing in India, we have to integrate several elements as we reduce the cost and time to construct. We need to consider sustainable design, water and sanitation systems, waste management, safety and privacy, air quality and ventilation, sustainable building materials, community spaces that support community development and economic activity, and more.
If you look at Mexico, it has similar problems of India. Over 20% of the population do not have the knowledge, do not have the finance and time to build a safe home. So it's the poverty and unemployment which just keeps them off from building a safe home. So in Mexico, an organization, Ichel to Casa, has built a community-based homes in their area where they use the community to do similar type of social housing. This organization has built over 180,000 homes in 23 states, which has impacted close to 1 million people. So that's a big number for a sustainable model which has gone through the whole of Mexico. If you look at Africa, what they have done there is these Nubian walls, which are very famous in the Egypt, which has been built thousands of years using the local material. They have trained people for doing this kind of method of construction. Not only training people, these people have trained others, and as a community they have worked together to make sustainable homes in Africa. So Adyamanda has the required access and network to people to bring them together so that this sustainable model can be replicated. We are not just building homes for them, we are looking at building a happier tomorrow for them and for the children. That's the whole concept on which V-Rise is working, to make sure this sustainable organization gives them a roof which keeps them happy.
V-Rise started a year ago, and our first effort is in this very village. While Lakshmi was my inspiration to think about this, I had to know more about it. So I spent a lot of time with my parents talking to them, and they helped me think through all the issues related to substandard housing. They connected me with the right people, and now V-Rise has a team of experienced volunteers who helped guide my efforts and make this dream a reality. V-Rise has partnered with a few hand-picked organizations to enable a successful rollout. Gramantara, our community partner. The Gramantara team will survey the villages, capture beneficiary details, negotiate with the local panchayat, and enable the project. Nivasa, an architectural NGO which is our implementation partner. Nivasa will enable construction of the V-Rise homes through local materials and sweat equity. Professor Carlo Ratti, who will mentor us on sustainable engineering and development and architect the design of our communities.
I think today we cannot avoid sustainability. It's both about environmental sustainability but also social sustainability. That's why we're very interested in this project we're starting in India, because it really combines the two aspects. You cannot solve one without the other.
V-Rise aims to achieve sustainable social communities across India through a 5-pillar approach. First, technological empowerment, which will provide the machinery to make soil cement blocks and the technical expertise of civil engineers and architects who will design and guide the construction. Second, financial inclusion, which will facilitate access to various modes of finance such as government grants and microfinancing through impact investors and through crowdfunding. Third, sustainability through environment-friendly design and construction, through introduction of rainwater harvesting and maximizing the use of daylight. Fourth, sweat equity, which will reduce the cost of labor by involving the homeowners in the construction and getting the community to mutually pitch in. And lastly, community, which will build spaces for the entire community to support social equity, learning, play, and enterprise. So we've done an impact study in 3 villages, and that's about 200 families as a whole. But if you look at this village in particular, that's about 50 families. And they've got a temple, a farm, a drinking water unit, a school. But even with all those facilities, they lack a home. I mean, the cramped spaces they have to share as a family.
ಇದು ಹಳೆ ಮನೆ. ಇದು ಈಗ ಮಳೆ ಜೋರಾಗಿ ಬಂದರೆ ಸೋರುತ್ತೆ. ಈ ಮಣ್ಣಲ್ಲಿ ಕಟ್ಟಿರೋದು, ಅಕಸ್ಮಾತ್ ವಿಪರೀತ ಮಳೆ ಆದರೆ ಬಿದ್ದೋಗುತ್ತೆ. ನಮ್ಮ ಹತ್ರ ಇನ್ವೆಸ್ಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಮಾಡೋಕ್ಕೆ ದುಡ್ಡಿಲ್ಲ. ವ್ಯವಸಾಯದಲ್ಲಿ ಹಿಂದುಳಿದಿದ್ದೀವಿ. ಎಲ್ಲ ಬೆಳೆ ನಷ್ಟ ಆಗ್ತಾಯಿದೆ. ಹಿಂದುಳಿದ ಊರಾಗೋಗ್ಬಿಟ್ಟಿದೆ ನಮ್ಮೂರದು. ಚರಂಡಿ ವ್ಯವಸ್ಥೆ ಇಲ್ಲ, ನೀರಿನ ವ್ಯವಸ್ಥೆ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಟಾಯ್ಲೆಟ್ಗಳಿಲ್ಲ, ಭಾಳ ಹಿಂದುಳಿದಿದೆ. ಅದರಿಂದ ಇದನ್ನು ಸರ್ಕಾರ ಅಥವಾ ಯಾವುದಾದ್ರೂ ಇದರಿಂದ ಅನುಕೂಲ ಆದರೆ ಒಳ್ಳೆ ಸಂತೋಷ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ನಮ್ಮೂರೆಲ್ಲ ಇಂಪ್ರೂವ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಅನ್ನೋದೊಂದು ನಮಗೂ ಒಂದು ಸ್ಯಾಟಿಸ್ಫ್ಯಾಕ್ಷನ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ.
There's two ways to look at housing. Look at housing in terms of built infrastructure. It's about the bricks. It's about what you need to build. But the other way to look at housing is really about the community, about how people come together. And that's how we want to start thinking about this project. It's about a new platform for the community in order to strengthen it.
We have adapted the soil cement block technology, which has two important aspects. One is it's a sustainable from environmental perspective, and second point, from construction, people use the soil from their local environment. We give the technology to them, say what kind of mix of cement and soil to be added, and then we train them with this, the soil cement block machines being installed at the site. So each brick is manufactured or molded at site. So it's hands-on from the owner or his family or the community around it. So it's a completely a community-oriented development than an individual business. Whether it's lighting, the ventilation, electricity, the water, the sanitation, or the cooking area design, each area has small component which will bring a lot of value to the house. Apart from this, yes, we are going to build a community center which will be the center of the entire development, which will help them in any celebration or any festivals or any kind of training or any awareness program which a lot of NGOs and the government organizations are doing. There is a proper place for that.
So essentially, VRise's approach to sustainable social communities is holistic, not just holistic, but also collaborative and long term.
ಇಲ್ಲಿರುವಂಥ ಒಂದು ನೇಚರ್ ಆಗಿರುವ ಮಣ್ಣು ಉಪಯೋಗಿಸಿ ಪುನಃ ಅದನ್ನು ಬ್ರಿಕ್ಸ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಮನೆ ಕಟ್ತಾ ಇರೋದ್ರಿಂದ ಒಂದು ಸೆಕ್ಯೂರ್ ಆಗಿರೋ ಮನೆ ಸಿಗುತ್ತೆ. ನನ್ನ ಕುಟುಂಬ ಸದಸ್ಯರು, ನನ್ನ ತಾಯಿ ತಂದೆ, ಬಂಧು ಬಳಗ, ನನ್ನ ಮಕ್ಕಳು, ನಮ್ಮ ಕುಟುಂಬದವರು, ಹಿಂದ್ಗಡೆ ಇರೋರು, ಹಳ್ಳಿ ಜನ ಎಲ್ಲ ಸೇಫಾಗಿರ್ತಾರೆ ಅನ್ನೋ ನಂಬಿಕೆ ನನಗಿದೆ ಮೇಡಮ್.
And I know this is a big dream to aim for, but I've got like-minded, passionate people helping me out. And there's a real need. There's still a lot to do. We Rise's Sustainable Social Communities initiative is a very large and powerful vision. We aim to start with building 20 homes in the next 12 months. In the next 5 years, We Rise hopes to have helped build homes for many hundreds of people and create a model that can be replicated across the country.
To make this vision happen in the next 12 months, We Rise needs around $150,000 in impact investment. We also need to look at different locations in terms of deploying technology and microfinance. And we also need to work with the right people who can create this participative community in this village and get a sustainable model that can be replicable.
We Rise hopes to deliver not just quality homes for those who have spent much of their lives in substandard homes, but also a sense of pride about home ownership and social identity, and security for their later years. Studies have shown that home ownership is a financial asset that is often the foundation for small businesses that generate employment and income. This is going to be particularly important for housebound women who can now begin to make a contribution to household income that would not otherwise be possible. And to enable this, post the building of these communities, we hope to provide the women with vocational training in tailoring, baking, toy making, animal farming, and more. The more we work on sustainable social housing, the more we as a team realize that this problem of substandard housing affects women and children to a far greater degree. It is important to involve a greater number of women in this effort. When the women in these villages feel empowered, we can truly impact their entire families. Therefore, we have invited educated working women from the cities to come help, spend a day in these villages, share their knowledge, and help build a home with their own hands. This village, Udigiri Nalapanahalli, is a small village in Karnataka, and it's one of the places where our work has begun. We have identified 19 homes which we can transform. We have got government clearances that allowed us to carry on with our work, as well as mobilize the support of every household, enabling the path for sweat equity. There are 30 volunteers, all women, who have come with me to help build a home.
We're just making a pebble of a difference, but it's an initiative. And the main thing is to take this forward into creating a better social community for us in every part of India.
I think we need to do this around the country. We need to really address this matter. Sanitation, home, safety. These are things we take for granted.
ಬದುಕೋಕೆ ಆಸೆ ಮನೆ ಚಿಕ್ಕದು ಇನ್ನೂ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಮನೆ ಮಾಡ್ಕೋಬೇಕು ನಾನು ಇನ್ನೂ ಇಂಪ್ರೂವ್ ಆಗಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಆಯಮ್ಮನ ಉದ್ದೇಶ ಇದೆ ಮಕ್ಕಳನ್ನ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿ ಓದಿಸ್ಬೇಕು ಇದೆಲ್ಲ ಇದೆ ಇನ್ನೂ 4 ಜನ ಕೆಲಸ ಕಳಿಸಿ ನಾವು ಇಂಪ್ರೂವ್ ಆಗಬೇಕು ಅನ್ನೋ ಉದ್ದೇಶ ಇದೆ
ಪೇರೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಸಾಲ ಮಾಡಿದಿರಾ ಮನೆ ಕಟ್ಕೊಟ್ರೆ ನಮಗೆ ಓದ್ಸೋಕ್ಕೆ ಮುಂದೆ ಅನುಕೂಲ
ತಡ್ಮನ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟರೆ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿರುತ್ತೆ ಸೊಳ್ಳೆ ಕಚ್ಚಲ್ಲ ಆರಾಮ ಮಲ್ಕೋಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಆಸೆ ಇದೆ
I've taken a big leap, and I'm hoping that with We Rise there will be a beautiful life transformation for not only these people but India and everyone involved. This is just the beginning. There's a long way to go, and your support counts.